Hello, Evan Thompson here. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to be showing you the performance mode on the tracker, just giving you a tutorial on the basics and then a little more detailed after that, and hopefully you learn something and I answer any questions you might have about it. So let's get into it. Okay, here with the tracker now, just showing you the firmware version I'm on at this time, 1.3.1, I guess. And let's go to project settings, and I just wanted to show you performance presets global. We've got it set on global. You can also have it per project. So this just means that whatever effects we set up in the performance page, if we have it on global, it'll always be the same between projects, and then per project we will always start with nothing and set it. Or rather, it'll save with the project. I'm not really sure. I have mine on global because I find that then I'm used to it. Then I'm used to the configuration. I can perform better with it. All right, so let's set up some effects. Right now we've got 12 lanes where we can put effects. And then we've got 8 tracks under this where we can, by clicking on these, any effects we have set up will affect these tracks now. So if I don't want it to affect any track but track 1, I just unclick it and it's affecting track 1. Or if I want it to affect everything, I can just have everything selected. All right, so I'm going to go into edit mode so we can set up our effects. So I'll just go up and down arrow. And this will scroll through effects and we can set them up on each lane. And so we've got 12 spots where we can put effects. So we can have 12 effects at once. However, there are more than 12 effects that you can use. And I believe they've added some over time. So let's see. One of my favorites is this step repeater here. So now I've got some effects going here. And so now I'll go out of edit mode. And so now when I press play on a pattern, let's go to pattern 9. So by holding down, I can select which pattern my track is on. And so I'll get more into that later. But so now if I just press play, you can hear the pattern going. And say I want to turn everything up a half step. Basically, I've got 4 places I can do that on this tune. So I could do it here. And then if I release, it goes back down. Or I could do it here, or here, or here. It really doesn't make a difference. The point of having those 4 different spots is that you can set up predefined values. So I'll show you how to do that now. So then you would go back into edit mode, and I will just hold down right here and just change the volume. So I want a preset here for like +10 volume, and then +8, well, more than that. Let's go, in case it gets really quiet, you can have that, and then -50. And so a quick note on what these values mean. So when I set the volume to +10, that it doesn't mean that we're at volume level 10 at all these tracks. What it means is we're at +10 to whatever volume we've already set up in either the instrument parameter page or the pattern page. So in like one of your effect lanes, if you've set the volume here to like, say you've set it to like 40, then if you do +10 in the perform setting, it's going to bring the volume up to 50 for all those parts. And that's the same for all the values. They always correspond to the instrument parameter values and then the pattern effect lanes values. All right, so now panning, we'll just set a few, and as you can see, you can do positive or negative values, and those mean different things depending on the effect. And I won't get into every single one, but you can kind of figure it out for yourself. The manual makes it pretty clear as well. So let's see, there we go. And I'll just set some presets for the delay. The reason you set these presets here is so that you can quickly just press, let's do that one, so that you can quickly, so if I go out of edit mode and now I can just select a few different So we'll start it just normal. And let's see, put the low pass filter on. Oh. So that's the thing. So I didn't have any of the tracks affected because I went back to pattern mode or song mode. So whenever you leave performance mode, all of the effects get turned off. Okay, so that's so that if you're going to song mode and you want to change what's next, or you want to make a change or see where you're at, then you go back to performance mode. This way you won't have anything unexpected happen during a performance, like some crazy, you've got the overdrive set to 100 and it just goes crazy or something. Overdrive's one of the effects, by the way. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So now we've got these presets, so I'll press play and I'll change a few of them for you. And actually let me set this, because I enjoy using this one. All right, and hold up. And so, as you can see, I can just kind of select the presets and effects I want, and it just gathers up. And then up here on this top one, I leave open, and that's what Polyend recommends, and it makes sense to have this the top preset row for just like no effect, so that once you've added a bunch, you can just kind of go like and turn them all off real quick. So let's talk a little bit more about like the functionality down here. So as you can see, I've got pattern 18 set up for each track here right now. But if I hold, I can change the pattern. So what you can actually do is remix your song completely, because you've got different patterns playing. Each track is pulling from a different one of your patterns, right? And so in that way, you're not only using effects in performance mode, but you're can totally remix a song. You can work really from here. You can memorize all performance if you wanted, or just go on the fly. If you make like really compatible patterns on this song, I didn't design it really for performance per se, so it's not entirely interesting to like switch up the patterns, but I could see there's a lot of circumstances where you could do that and it would be cool. And so one nice thing about that is, let me just play, let's see. Oh, so I suppose I have to reset these all myself. All right, so if you look down here, I've got everything, all of the tracks set to the same pattern now, pattern 9. And what I'm gonna do is press play. And if I hold, and instead of doing up and down arrows, I use these right and left arrows, what I can do is cue up, and it'll blink, and that means that it goes on to the next pattern like it just did. Except there's something holding over, which is kind of cool. So let's see if we can turn on the reverb. Now I want it to queue up to go to 17. So I'm going to hold everything down and arrow over one. And now we'll go on to the next. So as you can see, that's really useful for performing and remixing and everything. Some things that I want to make sure I cover, little things. So these are MIDI CC values up here. And the way you control that is you set up your external gear, wherever you control like whatever sends out the CC value, so you have to figure that out. But then you go to config and make sure your CC in is set to whatever you need it to be. You can do USB or the MIDI in jack or both. I have mine to the MIDI in jack, and I'm sending things from the Digitone. So these values are preset. So if I go to my Digitone and I move one of my values here, you can see it's set to the bandpass cutoff. And so I believe it's CC value 51 through 62, I believe. I'll put that here, or you can look it up in the manual, but you'll figure it out. So my point is that, though, you don't edit these from here. You change them from your external gear, and that's how it works. Oops, let me get to 0 here. All right. Also, so when I'm back in edit mode and I want to maybe move one of these effects somewhere else, I just hold shift and I can move it. So I can move the high pass over here if I want that. And then maybe I want all of the filters in one place, for example. And I can do that just like that. So holding shift. So a little bit about what's going on in the background here. If you have in performance mode, the tracker will take the longest pattern that you have set up here. So if you have different patterns set to each track and some are shorter than the others, it's going to take the longest pattern and loop it. And the shorter patterns will just end. And so that's just kind of how they designed that, which makes sense. All right, I just want to go through every single effect here and just talk about what there is. So we'll start at blank. There's volume, okay? Panning, tune, low pass cutoff, high pass cutoff, band pass cutoff, delay send, reverb send, sample position, sample end, sample playback. So that's like forwards, backwards, volume, LFO speed. And these are all of the LFOs are synced to the pattern BPM no matter what. And so you can just kind of use your ears to set the values, but how it is one step. So if like I put in 1, that means the LFO lasts 1 step, right? And if I put a -1, I imagine it would be half a step, and then a quarter of a step, things like, okay? And if you go it up, you can go up to like 23. So that means you've got 23, your LFO speed takes 23 steps for one full expression, right? So that's very slow, so which is cool. Oops. Anyway, so volume LFO, panning LFO, fine tune. I create kind of like a vibrato, filter, the granular and wavetable LFO speed, and the step repeater, which is really cool. I love the step repeater. It's kind of, you can be kind of like a DJ with that one. Pattern play mode, just reverse, forward, and then you've got pattern length, bit depth, so you can get crunchy with it, overdrive. That one's a dangerous one. Will get you in trouble with this, just because you accidentally turn it up and it's just affecting all tracks, and you're over the limit. So it's an exciting one. Yeah, and so that's what they've got so far as of this video. All right, well, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope that tutorial was useful. I'll be releasing a lot more videos on music production and other pieces of gear I have and tutorials. So if you like this kind of thing, then please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.